back to the channel of Promen's of Vids, and here it is. It's the day that the truths of what many people are predicting will come out of this, because the team has been released for the grand final for this Sunday for the 2022 grand final, Panthers versus the Eels, and out of the West grand final. Obviously, this is probably what the NRL wanted the most, and probably a very highly anticipated grand final, which it already has been very hyped up for Sunday for many good reasons, of course, because it's a derby, and it's obviously a big occasion whenever these two sides do play. So, Battle of the West, gotta love it, and keen for Sunday. Should be a good game, and obviously, in this video I'll be giving my tip and preview. So basically, just gonna go through the teams and basically talk about where I think the key players will be from both sides, where the game might be won, and just basically where I feel like just the aspects of where I think everything will unfold, you know, like who will be the Clive Churchill winner, you know, who will win the Clive Churchill after being the man of the match in the grand final, who will score the first try of the game for the grand final, anytime try scorers, you know, everything like that pretty much. So that's pretty much the preview of it. And then my tip, of course, will be at the end, where I just give my final prediction for the grand final for this year. But before I start, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You know, I'm currently at 2,320 something subscribers, so that's not too bad. And you know, obviously the goal is to get to 2,350 by hopefully early next month in October. So if we can, if I can see the growth happening very soon, then obviously it'll be much appreciated. So you know, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, in case you're a new viewer watching. But the main thing is that you're all here for my tip and my preview for the grand final. So without further ado, time to get into the whole tip and preview. So time to get into it. So here are the backlines of both teams for the grand final this Sunday. So I'll go with the Panthers first, start with them. So at fullback, Dylan Edwards. The wingers are Charlie Staines and Brian To'o. The centres are Isaac Tago and Stephen Crichton. As for the halves are Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary. For the Eels, Clint Gutherson. The wingers are Marcus Seaver and Wagga Blake. The centres are Will Penasini and Bailey Simonson, while the halves are Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses. Now onto the forwards of both sides, the forward pack. So for the Panthers, the props are Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris. The hooker is Api Korois in his last ever Penrith game. And so is kicker. The back rows are William Kicker and Liam Martin, as it's his last game too. And lock Isaiah Yeo. And the Eels forward pack now, the props are Regan Campbell-Gillard and Junior Pulo. The hooker is Reid Martin. He's playing his last game for Parramatta as well. And the back rows are Sean Lane and Isaiah Papali'i. Papali'i's the last official game for the Parramatta Eels 2, and lock Ryan Madison. And lastly, it's the interchanges now. So for the Panthers, it's Mitch Kenny, Scott Sorensen, Spencer Lanu, and Jamin Salmon. While for the Eels, it's Nathan Brown, Jake Arthur, Oregon Kafusi, and Murata Niokore. Now on to the recent results between the two sides. So this year they've played 4 times. Well, it's going to be 4 times this Sunday when they're playing the grand final. So they've played each other a fair bit this year, actually. Obviously, the first game of the year when they both did play was back in round 9 at Bluebet Stadium there, where the Eels actually ended the Panthers' 21 game winning streak from last year to 2022. And it was a incredible effort by the Eels to get the win there in Penrith and end their streak, winning 22 points to 20. So that was a good sort of victory there. And the very next time they played again, Eels beat them again back on July 29th, around the mid-range of the season. So that was obviously a very big win, and they won 34 points to 10, and that was back in round 20, I'm supposed to say, sorry. And obviously lost Nathan Cleary to that game because of a dangerous tackle from Dylan Brown, which was awful tackle. So that was very controversial game, but Eels won fair and square, and they dominated that day. And then the other times they played was recently in the finals week 1, which was about a good 2 weeks ago now. And the winner of that game was obviously the Panthers, winning 27 points to 6. They got their revenge over the Eels after losing to them twice previously. So, and I was at that game too in week 1. So that was a good victory by the Panthers to get them the week off. And they play this Sunday in the grand final. So we'll see if it's 2 times the Eels have won, 2 times Penrith will win. Or will it be 2 times the Eels have won, and will it be Panthers won the next time, and then it'll be Eels for the 3rd time beating Penrith this year? Have to wait and see. Right, onto my key players for both Panthers and the Eels now, and basically my reasonings why I do have both these players for their respective clubs, and why I think these are the 2 players I think will have to be really good on the day for leading their sides to the victory. And pretty much it's both captains are going with. Panthers for me is Nathan Cleary as their key player, and for the Eels I've got Clint Gutherson. So I'll start with the Panthers and Nathan Cleary. Well, I think Nathan Cleary is the real sort of guy that needs to stand up and get them the victory if he is to have a good game and lead them to that back-to-back premiership sort of thing. So look, Nathan's a halfback. Nathan's a halfback. Obviously, he has a big role to play in terms of steering his side around, setting out most things, and just playing well in general. Because as the halfback, you can sort of impact and sort of drive how the rest of the team sort of goes, to be honest. And that's the role of being a halfback, is you control the game, you take more ownership than most players do in their own positions. So Nathan's good at doing that, like he is, and that's been proven all season and proven in the past. That he's done good in terms of leading a side around, but I guess in some big games he has struggled to be consistent, and he's kind of shied away, for example, in Origin and in the 2020 Grand Final as well, and the 2020 series then. So he has struggled before, big games, but I feel like that this Sunday he will be the difference for Panthers. I feel like if they are to win, it will be his game to stand up and lead them to victories, but we'll see anyway. But I think Nathan Cleary is my key player to watch for the weekend. For the Eels, I've got Clint Gutherson. Now, I was close going with Mitchell Moses, but the reason why I'm going with Gutho is because I feel like Gutherson's leadership will be very, very big for the Eels come Sunday, only because I feel like that with the Panthers, right? Cleary's kicks are going to be challenging for Gutherson. He needs to be really on his A game in terms of defence, and he's a good defender, Gutherson, but I feel like they are going to come up with a bit of a plan, Penrith, to sort of put him off and try and cause all the pressure on Gutherson and the rest of the team through trick plays and kicks, and that's where Gutherson's leadership needs to come into play and calm the team down, that they'll be okay and that they've got each other's back for whatever, So I do think Gutherson's going to play a big role in terms of if Eels do go the whole way or not. And just in a big game as well, I think any captain will have to be really resilient and really have a good game in terms of just leading your side around in a big game. So I think that's where Gutherson needs to stand up and do a job, which he should, and I think he will. But time will only tell, I suppose. But I think with how the Panthers are, how the Panthers like to get in your face and like to be that fierce sort of team, that's where Gutherson needs to get the boys revved up, I feel like, as a captain. So we'll see what happens. But they're my two key players on both sides. Okay, now on to the final segment of the preview now. So this is where I finally give my prediction on the game and where I do think the game will be won and where I do believe the premiership will be given to for this year between the Panthers and the Eels, and be giving my anytime and first try scorer tip as well. So my 2022 premiers, I believe, will be the Penrith Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to go back-to-back in 2022. A lot of people are going to be barracking for the Eagles only because they don't want to see a back-to-back sort of thing happen again with Panthers winning it in 21 and 22. And obviously, I think because people want to see the Eagles win a comp for the first time since 1986 and just, I guess, break the hoodoo or break the drought pretty much. But look, I just think Panthers will be a bit too good, Panthers have a lot more grand final experience than what the Eels do. A lot more big game players, in my opinion. And I just think that Panthers in general will just be a little bit more prepared and a little bit more on their game than what I think Eels will be. Eels will be competitive, no doubt, but I just feel like the extra class of Cleary, Luai, and Edwards and all of them will be probably the difference in the end because of the way they play and how they sort of adjust themselves to a big game, I suppose. So I'm not sure of how Moses and Gutherson will go in a big game like this because they're pretty unknown to big matches. So we'll see what happens, but I do think Panthers are going to go back-to-back, and I'm tipping the Panthers win here by 10. So I'm going to go with the Panthers win here 22 points to 12. So by 10 points, I reckon. I feel like it might blow out in the second half. It might be like a halftime score of 12-10 Eels way or something like that. It'll be very close in the first half, and then I feel like some late tries in the second half might just sort of blow the score out to 10 in my opinion. So going to go with the Panthers here, 22 points to 12. My first try scorer, it's very tough because I do want to get this accurately, and sometimes, everyone tips the backs to score the first try, but I am going to go a little bit different. Not different, but that's probably what a lot of people do go a bit different, is go over the forwards, but I'm actually not going to go with a forward, actually. I'm going to tip it back because I think that's probably the safe place to sort of go with, but I'm going to tip for first try scorer. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with Micah Sevo for first try in the grand final. So I feel like the Eels will open up the scoring through Micah Sevo with the first try on that left-hand side. So I reckon Micah's going to get the first try for the Eels. My anytime try scorers for Parramatta, well, since I'm only tipping them to score 12 points, I reckon the other try scorer other than Sevo will be Isaiah Papali'i. And for the Panthers, I'm going to go with anytime try scorers for them. Brian Tyre for a try. I reckon Appy Corus and Fundami Half's going to score one as well. I just have a feeling Appy's going to score a try in the grand final. And I'm also going to go with Liam Martin back row. I reckon Liam Martin score any time as well. So they're my that's my grand final tip, my first try scorer, my anytime try scorer tips. And lastly, my Clive Churchill medalist. I'm going to back in Dylan Edwards for the Clive Churchill for 2022. I think Dylan Edwards, for me, will be the man of the match in the grand final in their predicted win against the Eels. And, yeah, I think Dylan Edwards will take out the Clive Churchill for 2022. But, everyone, that brings an end to my grand final 2022 tip plus preview. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your grand final tip in the comment section down below. I'm keen to see what you are all backing for the grand final. So, yeah, enjoy Sunday. And this does officially end my tipping for 2022.